Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is me back in my game room again. Thanks for coming by. I'd like to describe to you today the rules and the story behind a game that I created some years ago that seems to be fairly popular with the younger set. This is a game called Stones. As it says on the package here, a game of chance and choices for 2 to 4 youthful players. It is definitely a kid's game, but fun for the whole family kind of a thing. Now, to have a quick look at the artwork here on the board, you can see that we've got these arrays of stones here in 4 groups, a little 16 square 4x4 array for each player. And when you receive your copy of the game, you get a sheet inside the game here. Looks kind of like this, which describes to you what the stones are. These are actual representations of different kinds of stone. So you can use it as an educational tool as well as a game. So the game starts out looking like this. We have a collection of stones that comes with the game. These are little glass gems, slumped marbles they call them. Each player has a pawn. We've got 4 pawns in the game. I'll just set up a 2-player game here for demonstration purposes. The player pawns start on corners. Now you'll notice the board itself here has 4 corners with arrows here, and the arrows indicate that if you start your turn on that corner, then you must go in the direction of the arrows. If you start your turn anywhere else on the board, then you can choose which direction you want to go. That rule tends to balance out the randomness of the game a little bit and keep things moving along. Now here's what the spaces on the board mean. If you, for instance, land on a +2, you get to take 2 stones from the supply and add them to your own cache. If you land on the +1 space, you get to add 1 stone from the supply to your own cache. If you land on a P1, that means place 1, you get to place a stone somewhere in your array of spaces on your corner of the board here. If you land on a -1, then you have to put a stone from your cache back into the supply, so you lose a stone. Here's a R1. Now R1 is a little different in that you remove a stone from someone else's array in the corner so that you can take a stone off to hinder their efforts in trying to win the game. And then there's a place 1 as well, another place 2, so you get to place 2 stones on your own corner. So your corner array here of 16 spaces, your objective is to fill those. And you fill those when you land on certain spaces around the outer track. And so when you start filling those spaces with stones, eventually it'll fill up. But in the meantime, if you're placing stones there, somebody may land on a remove space and they'll be able to take one of those stones off and hinder your progress. However, if you have 4 in a row, like 4 in a row diagonally this way, or 4 in a row orthogonally this way, those are locked in place so that somebody can't take them. It's similar to mill in 9 Men's Morris and other mill games. There's one way that that stone can be taken off the board, and that is if somebody lands on the take space at the corner of the board. If somebody lands on take, they can actually take one of those stones from your array, whether it's locked or not, and add it to their own cache. Generally, a removed stone would go back into the supply. All players start with a cache of 4 stones to begin with, so I'll just put those here. And let's play a few turns here so you can kind of see how the pattern goes. Just roll a 3 on behalf of the yellow player. So if I go 1, 2, 3, I get to place 1. And because I'm on an arrow corner here, I have to follow the arrow. So I go 1, 2, 3, and I get to place a stone in my array here. So I'll just place that one. So then it's the blue player's turn. That's a 3 also. Look at there. And now, because we're not on the corners anymore, we can choose which direction we want to go. There's a 1. I will take another stone. And now the blue player does a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 would be place another stone. That sounds reasonable. Yellow player goes 2. Now, you'll notice that we have a safe corner. Safe means that even if somebody lands on the take, you're safe. You can't lose a piece that way. So safe is a good place to be. However, if I go the other direction to a -1 and I lose a stone for my cash, I think I'd rather be safe. Blue goes 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4 would take a stone. 1, 2, 3, 4 would place another stone. I'm going to place a stone like so. So I'm getting close to a row of 4 over here. Yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4. I lose a stone. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get 2 stones. That's not a bad thing. So now I have a cache of 6 over here. And the blue player rolls a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I get stones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd be safe. I'm going to go for more stones because I've only got 1 left. And now the yellow player is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can take a stone. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could take 2. I'm going to take 2 because it's always good to have a few extra stones in your cache. And the blue player, oh, got a 1. I'm going to place 1. Now I have a row of 4. Those are locked in unless the yellow player should land on take. And that's pretty much the way the game goes as people move around the board, placing stones in the corners, locking them into rows of 4, occasionally losing that lock, having to recover from that, running out of stones for a couple of turns happens sometimes. But this game has also led to those stand-up moments, you know, and people get so excited that they can't stay in their seat. They're really eager to see how the next turn might go. So if you get the opportunity to try out stones, the link is in the notes here below of where you can buy a copy. The copy available right now does not look like this. It's a larger box. It comes from the Game Crafter. Hopefully later this year we'll get this in production at Red Hen Toys, so it'll be this size of a box. So keep watching in future episodes here. I'll make some announcements about when those new games come out. I thank you again for tuning in this week to check out the video. By all means, click the subscribe button and the little bell and all that so that we'll keep in touch. And I thank you for your support. And be sure to visit the websites and the links down here too. And keep track of more games that are in a catalog, as it were. And so, meanwhile, like I always say sometimes, be sure to play every day.